of my 7th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of an ab exercise, and at least 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 29, which means that there are just 2 weeks left of this challenge, but that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. You can hop in today and just do the final 2 weeks of the challenge with me. That would be wonderful. Of course, you don't need to do the entire challenge. If you just want to do today's workout with me, that would also be wonderful. So there are timestamps in the description box down below the video. If you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to hear a little bit about what the challenge is, how you can participate, where to begin, and if you would like to see today's exercises briefly demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So there is a playlist for this challenge. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video. And it will be linked right on the screen at the very end of the video as well, just to make sure that you cannot miss it. So click on the link in the iCard, save the playlist. Even if this is the first you're hearing about the challenge and you don't really know what it is and you don't know if you want to participate, save the playlist so that when and if you decide you want to participate in the challenge, you have all of the workouts readily available to you and all you have to do is follow along with the playlist. Now this is my 7th year in a row doing the challenge. Last year I was gearing the challenge specifically towards beginners, but this year we are in our Mama Bear era. So if you're going to be following along with these year 7 workouts, I'm going to assume that you are more or less at an intermediate level. And by that I mean, I'm going to assume that you have access to a few basic pieces of fitness equipment, at least an exercise mat and a set of dumbbells, for example. I'm also going to assume that you generally know how to do the exercises with the correct form. I'm going to assume that you know that you're supposed to keep your body in one straight line as you're doing your push-ups, and that you know that you're supposed to keep your back flat and all of the weight in your heels as you're squatting. So if you are unfamiliar with how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups correctly, or if you are a complete beginner, if you're in terrible shape, you've never worked out a day in your life, you don't own a single piece of fitness equipment, and you think you can't do a 40-day challenge, if you think you can't do a squat or a push-up, yes you can. This challenge is for you. So right now I'm speaking to absolute day 1 beginners. I'm going to put a link for last year's playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked again on the end screen. So the link will be right on the screen at the very end of the video. So click on that link. Last year was my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, and that was our Baby Bear challenge. So click on the link and save the year 6 playlist if you are an absolute beginner. And then all I want you to do is just start by watching that day 1 video. You don't have to commit to anything yet. Just click on the link in the iCard, save the playlist from year 6 of the challenge, and watch the day 1 video. Just do those 3 things for me, please. Give me an opportunity to convince you that you can do this challenge. There are so many different ways to participate in this challenge. So if it seems too daunting to commit to a 40-day challenge, maybe you can commit to doing the first 20 days of the challenge with me, or the final 20 days of the challenge, or every other day of the challenge. If you're still not ready to commit to doing 160 reps every day, maybe you can commit to doing 80 reps a day or 40 reps a day. So watch that day 1 video. I'm going to explain to you in that video everything there is to know about this challenge. I'm going to talk about the origins of the challenge, why I started doing this challenge for myself back in 2020. I talked all about how this is a physical challenge, but also a mental health challenge. And I walked you through tons of ways that you can participate. If you are the one doing the challenge, then you do it in your way. You do it in whatever way works for you. So that, again, might be doing 20 days instead of 40. It might be doing every other day, or lessening the amount of reps that you're doing. So watch that video. Let me explain how you can modify and customize this challenge to suit your current fitness level, to suit your time constraints, okay? And then you'll know how to set a realistic goal. And then once you have decided to what extent you are capable of participating in the challenge, make the commitment to participate in the challenge. And don't worry if you don't know how to do a squat or a push-up, because also in that day 1 video, I went into extensive detail demonstrating and explaining how to do each exercise with the correct form. And I also provided tons of beginner modifications that I promise you, you can do. So watch the day one video, and then when and if you decide you want to participate in the challenge, just make sure you start with your day one workout on a Wednesday. So it doesn't matter what playlist you're following along with, regardless of your fitness level. The challenge is always designed as a 40-day challenge. Whether or not you do all 40 days is up to you, but the challenge is always designed as a 40-day challenge. Every year the challenge is the same. It is 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And the challenge is always designed to start on a Wednesday. So regardless of which playlist you're following along with, it works the same. Just make sure that you start with your day one workout on a Wednesday, and from there, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I've made it super easy to follow along, but just know that even though it's really easy to follow along with the playlist, if you're having any issues, if you have questions, you're not doing the challenge alone, okay? Again, regardless of your fitness level, regardless of which playlist you're following along with, I am here doing the challenge with you. So even if you're a beginner and you're following along with last year's playlist, if you need help, you can comment on any one of the videos from last year and I will be here to answer your questions. So I'm not just doing the workouts with you every day. When I say I'm doing the challenge right along with you, I am here to guide you through the challenge. I am here to encourage you and support you. I'm here to help motivate you if you need help with that. And I'm here to answer any and all questions that you may have about the challenge. So if you're unsure about which playlist you should be following along with, if you don't know whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, if you are having trouble finding any of the links, if you have any questions at all about the challenge or how to get started, I'm right here. So ask questions if you have them. Now, if you are super advanced, I have a playlist for you too. Year 5 of the challenge, the workouts were much longer and much more difficult. We were frequently doing more than just 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups. We were doubling our reps a lot of times. We were doing exercises other than just squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We were doing more challenging variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. Frequently I was adding weight. More often than not, I would add weight to those workouts. And also, most of the workouts in year 5 of the challenge, I was incorporating about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio right into the workouts. So if you're in really good shape, you have excellent stamina, you have access to some basic pieces of fitness equipment, and maybe you have a little bit more time to dedicate to your workouts each day, then you can follow along with the year 5 playlist. So that was our Papa Bear challenge. I will link the year 5 playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked on the end screen. So it'll be on the screen at the very, very end of the video. So all 3 playlists, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, all 3 of those playlists will be linked in the iCard. All 3 of those playlists are linked in the description box, or all 3 of those playlists are linked on the end screen. So especially if you're advanced, I recommend saving all 3 playlists, because then you can just kind of bounce around. Each day of the challenge, you will have 3 options to choose from. You will have a beginner version, an intermediate version, and an advanced version of the workout. That being said, you do not have to go in order. So you do not have to stick with one playlist the entire time. Like I said, you can bounce around between the playlists depending on your needs that day. If you're super pressed for time, you don't have access to equipment, then the workouts that we did last year are going to be perfect for you. Especially if you're in really great shape, you are going to be able to complete almost all of the workouts from last year's challenge in under 10 minutes. So if you are pressed for time, if you're traveling, you don't have access to equipment, or if you're just not feeling well and you don't want something super strenuous, those are still great workouts and they're a perfect option for days like that. So, and that way you can stick with the challenge and still get your reps done, even though, you might be facing time constraints or you're not feeling well or you don't have any equipment. So I definitely recommend saving all 3 playlists. You can bounce around between the playlists. You do not have to stick to one playlist, and you do not have to go in order. Obviously, every day I share a new workout with you, and the workouts are labeled days 1 through 40, and that's how I do the challenge every year, but you don't have to do it that way. Again, if you're doing it, it's your challenge. You do it in whatever way works for you. So let's say you've been going in order through the playlist, but you reach a workout that isn't going to work for you for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't like it. Maybe you don't have the equipment I'm using. Maybe you can't do any of the variations of these exercises that I'm doing, but there was a workout that we did earlier on in the challenge that you loved. You can go back and revisit that workout. That's fine. Let's say you've been working off of the intermediate playlist, but you know, on any given day, you're feeling like you've been doing the challenge for a long time now and you're starting to feel yourself getting stronger, and you want to see if you can really challenge yourself. Think I have a little more time today and I have the equipment she's using. Let me check out what we did in year 5. So for example, today's day 29. Let's say you look at what we're doing today and you think, well, I think I can push myself a little harder than that. So let me check out what we did in for day 29 in year 5 of the challenge. Well, you can do that workout, but you don't have to do the day 29 workout on day 29. So if you feel like you want more of a challenge, you can do any of the workouts from the year 5 playlist, and that's fine. So on any given day, you can do any one of these workouts. Literally the only requirement to participate in the challenge is just that you're getting those 160 reps done every day. So as long as you're doing your 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups every day, you have met your requirement to participate in the challenge. It doesn't matter which workout you do. So it doesn't even have to be one of the workouts off of any of these 3 playlists. It doesn't even have to be from my channel. You don't have to do one of my workouts. Any workout in the whole world that happens to meet those requirements. As long as the workout contains at least 40 squats, at least 40 lunges, at least 40 reps of any ab exercise, and at least 40 push-ups, you're good. Just do any workout you want. And if you don't have time to incorporate your reps into a structured workout, or it's still too difficult to do all of the reps at once, you can spread out your reps throughout the course of the day. You don't have to do them in the form of a workout. So you could get up in the morning and first thing to do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. It could be any variations of those 4 exercises you want. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout your day. So you could do it again after lunch. You could do it again after you get home, once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. So any way you want to get your reps done is fine, as long as you're doing them with good form. But you do not have to incorporate your reps into a structured workout. This challenge is very, very easy to customize to accommodate your time constraints, your fitness level, your access to equipment, and it's very, very flexible. So any way you want to get those reps done will work. And that's basically it. That is how the challenge works. So of course I could stand out here all day and talk more and go into more detail, but I think that's enough for today, especially if you've been following along with the challenge. You know all this stuff already. But again, if this is the first you're hearing about the challenge, make sure that you save the playlist and then just start by watching that day 1 video. And again, you can jump in today and just do the final 2 weeks of the challenge with me. That would be great. I would love to have you for the final 2 weeks. It's better to do something than nothing. So if you do not want to go back and start on day 1 of the challenge, just do the final 2 weeks with me. That's great. Do what you can. But if you do want to go back and start on day 1, that is recommended. It is designed as a 40-day challenge. So just make sure you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, and regardless of when you're doing the challenge, even if my challenge is over, if you're finding this challenge in October or something and I've been done with the challenge for months, you can still comment on any of the videos and I will still be here to help guide you through. I'm always here to help. So ask questions if you have them, but I think that's enough about the challenge for today. So let's go ahead and get into the exercises that we are doing for today's workout. So if you do not have any equipment, you have 2 options. First of all, I will be providing equipment-free substitutions, so you can follow along with today's workout and just apply those equipment-free substitutions. But remember that you also have last year's day 29 workout as an option. So I will link the workout that we did for day 29 of the challenge up here on the iCard, and it will also be linked in the description box down below the video. So if you're an absolute beginner and you know already that you need an equipment-free modification, and you know that you need to see beginner modifications, and if you need a little bit more instruction with regard to how to do the exercises with the correct form, then I'm going to recommend that you click away now, click the link in the iCard, and follow along with last year's day 29 video. I know not all beginners are automatically at the same level just because they're beginners, so If you do have a set of dumbbells, or if you want to grab a couple of household items to use as weight and you want to try to follow along with today's workout, you're more than welcome to do so. Just make sure that you reach out if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the proper form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, because I'm not going to be going into too much detail about that today, because again, I'm assuming that if you're a beginner, you'll follow along with last year's workout, and if you're following along with me today, that you're at more of an intermediate level. So you can see I have a set of dumbbells here for reference, and for reference only, these are 10-pound dumbbells. That is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter than that. You may need to use something heavier than that. That depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It also just depends on what you have available to you. And of course, it depends on how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weights and make the decision that is best for you. If you do not have dumbbells, you can look for household items that will work. So for example, maybe grab a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight. You could just fill them with water. You might be able to make them a little bit heavier by filling them with something like uncooked rice or dried beans or lentils, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, something like that. If you're taking your workout to the beach or the park or the hiking trail, maybe you could fill them with dirt or sand, or maybe you could just even find a couple of rocks that you can hold onto for weight. So get creative and use what's available to you, as long as you can find something that you are able to maintain a secure grip on so that you're not going to drop it and injure yourself or break something and make a mess. And as long as it's not too heavy for you, then pretty much anything can work for weight. But I will be using a set of 10-pound dumbbells. My dumbbells are hex dumbbells, meaning that they are shaped like a hexagon on the end. So this is significant for our push-up exercise because my dumbbells are flat on the bottom, which is going to provide me with more stability while I am holding onto them to do my push-ups. So if your dumbbells are rounded on the ends, or if you are using household items like shampoo bottles or water bottles for weight, I'm going to strongly recommend that you do not use dumbbells for your push-ups. I would prefer that you do your push-ups with your hands flat on the floor or the ground, but we'll get to that when we go over the push-up variation that I'm doing. But I am going to be doing my push-ups on my dumbbells. So if your dumbbells are not flat on the bottom, please just use caution. I know that there are plenty of people who do push-ups on rounded dumbbells. It's up to you. It is up to you to decide what level of risk you feel comfortable taking, and you know your body, you know if you're capable of doing push-ups on rounded dumbbells safely, but please just be smart, be safe, use your common sense, and make the decision that is best for you. So starting with squats and lunges, because I'm going to be combining my squats and lunges into a little combo. So for both squats and lunges, you want to make sure your back is flat, make sure the weight is in your heels. So for my squat, I like to start by tucking my shoulder blades into my back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest stays lifted high, abs are tight, and then I like to think of this as a hip hinge. Before I squat, I'm hinging at the hips, pushing that booty back like I'm trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty. At the same time, chest is lifted high, so I'm also thinking about trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest. I'm elongating my spine so that my back is flat and all of my weight is in my heels. Do you see I can actually pick up my toes? And from here is where I'll sink down into my squat. Then press your heels into the ground to stand. With our lunges, we're doing a side lunge variation. So I'm going to step to the side and lunge. And same thing, I want my back flat and I want all the weight in the heel of this lunging foot. So I'm pushing my booty back, chest stays lifted high, the shoulder blades are tucked into the back pockets. Now when I do my side lunge, I'm going to reach down and tap my toes. But if you can only reach your toes by rounding your back, then don't worry about tapping your toes, worry about keeping your back flat. So you may need to modify and tap your knee or your shin, and that's fine, okay? But just remember, flat back, weight in the heels. That goes for squats and lunges. So basically, that's it. That's your equipment-free modification if you are not holding on to anything for weight. Just going to do an air squat and a side lunge and reach down and tap that toe if you can, or tap your knee if you can't tap your toe without rounding your back. So what I'm going to do is start towards one end of my space. I'm going to step one foot out to the side and come down into my squat. And then I'm going to step the other foot in. So we're doing like a little walking squat. And then with the foot that just stepped in, I'm going to step it back out and lunge back in the direction I just came from. So I'm going to pick up this foot, step out to the side and lunge, tap the toe, bring the foot back. And now I'm on the opposite side, I'm going to do the same thing in the other direction. So stepping in the opposite direction, step out and squat, and then walk the other foot in, and then I'm going to step this foot to the opposite side and lunge. So I'm always, I'm doing my squat, I'm walking, so I'm moving here to here, and then I'm lunging back in the direction I just came from. So now other directions, squat, walk, and lunge back in this direction, okay? So that's it. The squat plus the lunge is 1 rep, and that is my squat and lunge variation, and that is your equipment-free modification. So I'm just going to be doing, I'm on the fence. I was thinking of just doing a goblet squat because I feel like it'll flow a little better, but now I'm thinking I might want to do a thruster. So there's a couple of options for you. If it's too heavy to hold on to both of your dumbbells, you can just hold on to one. Year 5 of the challenge, we were actually adding a little chest press. I was doing a squat plus a chest press, and then switching the dumbbell into one hand, doing my lunge like that. So you can do that with or without the chest press, that's fine. I am going to be, or you can do what I'm doing without the chest press, but just holding onto one weight. So if you want to just do a goblet squat, then the only difference between your equipment-free modification and the weighted version is just that you're holding the weight up like this in front of your chest. And then you can transfer the weight into one hand, step to the side and lunge, and then bring the weight back, okay? And then other direction, goblet squat, transfer the weight into the other hand, step to the side and lunge, okay? I'm going to be doing that. Well, I might do thrusters, but if you want to hold on to both of your weights, you can hold your weights together like this and do the same thing, step to the side and squat, and lunge back in the direction you just came from, other side, squat, and lunge. So I might do that, or I might do thrusters. So if you want to do thrusters, you're going to curl the weights up to your shoulders, step to the side and squat, and then as you come up from your squat, press the weights up overhead, and then bring the weights back down to your shoulders, step the knee in, and then bring the weights down, step to the side and lunge, then weights back up to the shoulders, step to the opposite side, press the weights up overhead, then step the foot in, bring the weights down in front of your chest, step to the side and lunge. So I think I might do that, but you can do goblet squats if you prefer, with one weight or two, or with no weights, that is up to you. Remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine, and any lunge variation you want to do is fine. So you can swap out different variations of the exercises and still follow along with the video, just combine any squat variation you want with any lunge variation you want, and then while I'm doing the squats and lunge variations that I'm doing, you can be doing a different squat and lunge variation, but still following along with the video. That is up to you. All right, so that covers our S and our L. Moving on to A for abs. So I'm going to be doing a hip dip with a knee crunch. So let me show you your body weight modification first. So you're going to come up into a side plank, and I have my feet staggered so that my top foot is in front. That way I'm just more stable in this position. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can have your legs stacked, but in that case you're going to have to change the knee crunch that I'm doing. So let me show you what I'm doing first, and then I'll show you the version with your legs stacked, which is a little bit more advanced. So I have my feet staggered, front foot, top leg is in front, and I'm going to come up into my side plank, and then I'm going to dip the hip, lift it back up, and now I'm going to take this back knee and drive the knee forward, and at the same time I'm twisting my body thoracically and bringing my top elbow down to meet the knee. That's 1 rep. So dip the hip, lift the hip, and crunch. So if you want to do this with your legs stacked, then obviously you're not going to be able to pick up your bottom leg, but you can pick up your top leg, and that's going to look more like what I'm doing today because I'm going to add weight to this exercise. So any kind of variation on this exercise you want to do is fine. But if you would like to do this more advanced version with your legs stacked, you can do your hip dip from here and then lift the top knee towards your elbow. So you're not twisting, but you're still working your obliques with that move, okay? So that's another option. If this is too difficult, you can come down onto your elbow, either with your legs stacked or staggered. It doesn't matter, but this makes it much easier. So dip and crunch, okay? You also, if you're a beginner, could have your bottom knee on the mat for support, in which case you would start here and then dip the hip, lift the hip, and you can just do this if you're an absolute beginner. If you're strong enough and you want to try, you can do this knee tuck like this, but just keep that bottom leg on the mat for support. So again, any kind of variation on this will work. But I'm going to be just holding on to one weight. I'm not going to do anything with the weight. I'm just going to have it on my shoulder. You could have it kind of like on your hip. I just find that uncomfortable. I'd rather just have it up by my shoulder. And I'm going to have my legs stacked. I'm going to be up here in my side plank, and I'm just going to dip the hip, lift the hip. And now instead of doing the crunch the way I was doing it in the body weight version, bringing this back leg forward, I'm going to crunch this top knee up towards the shoulder on the same side. Okay, so dip the hip, lift the hip, knee crunch. All right, so just adding some weight to make it a little bit more challenging, but the added weight is completely optional, and there's several different variations right there that you can do with that exercise. So last but not least is push-ups. I'm going to be doing a staggered, hands staggered push-up. So again, any push-up variation you want to do is fine, just mind your form on the push-up. So head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against the wall and just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall, that is where you want your head to be. That's where you want your head to stay. Make sure your head stays still and you're not allowing your head to bob up and down while you're doing your push-ups. Spread out all 10 fingers. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Come up into your plank pose. Head is in line with the spine, so you are not allowing your head to drop down like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. Head is in line with the spine, shoulders are away from the ears, so you don't want to be sinking into your shoulders like this. Press the mat away from you, push yourself up as high as you can in your plank pose, and make sure that your back is flat. So if your hips or your belly are drooping down towards the mat, that's causing an arch in your back, tighten up your abs, use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them lifted high. So once you have found that beautifully perfect plank position and your body is in one perfectly straight line, either from your heels to your shoulders or from your knees to your shoulders if you're doing knee push-ups, nothing moves. Make sure you maintain integrity in that plank the entire time. So make sure that you are not compensating. If you're unable to get your chest all the way down, make sure you're not compensating by lowering your hips or your belly to the ground. Make sure you're not compensating by lowering your forehead to the ground. I see people do that a lot. I think it's done on a subconscious level because you're just trying to get all the way down. If you can't get your chest all the way down, that's fine. You have two options. You can put your knees down or you can just shorten up your range of motion, but just make sure that you're keeping that straight line the entire time, maintaining integrity in that plank. So head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. Make sure your abs are super tight. You're using your abs to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. Keep your head still and you're good. So just apply that to any push-up variation you choose. I'm going to be doing my push-ups with my hands staggered. So like this, okay? So I'm going to have one hand where it would normally be for my push-up right underneath my shoulder, but I'm going to pick up the other hand and move it back just a bit, and I'm going to do my push-up from this position. And then alternate hands with each rep. So now walk this foot forward, walk the other foot back. Okay, so there is your equipment-free version of the exercise. If you are not adding weight, or if you're using dumbbells that are rounded on the ends, or if you're using household items for weight. I would very much prefer that you do your push-ups with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. I'm going to be increasing the difficulty a little bit more by turning these into reptile push-ups. So when I say that, I just mean that I'm taking one knee and tucking it towards the elbow on the same side. So I'm going to step one hand back, and the hand that is closer, the hand that I just stepped back, the hand that's closer to my feet, I'm going to pick up the foot on that same side, and as I come down into my push-up, I'm going to tuck the knee in towards that elbow on the same side. And then as I straighten my arms, I'm going to straighten the leg, return to my starting position, alternating sides with each rep. So now this hand walks forward, other hand walks back. Now this hand is back closer to my feet, so I'm picking up the foot on the same side, bending the knee towards the elbow on the same side as I lower my chest down towards the mat, and as I push myself back up, I'm straightening the leg, okay? So the reptile knee tuck with it is optional, but I'm going to be doing a reptile knee tuck, and I'm going to be holding onto my dumbbells while I do my push-ups. So exact same exercise, but I'm just holding onto a set of dumbbells to increase the difficulty a little bit. So I'll pick up one hand, step it back, and now come down into my push-up with the optional reptile knee tuck. You can just do a standard push-up there if you want, and then walk this dumbbell forward, walk the other one back, and then another reptile push-up, bending the knee on the opposite side, straighten the leg as I push myself up, okay? So that is my push-up variation, but you can, there's a lot of elements, so you can do it with or without weight. You can do it with or without your hands staggered, with or without the knee tuck, okay? You can do the push-ups from your knees. That is completely up to you. And again, it doesn't even have to resemble what I'm doing. You can do any push-up variation you want. But those are the squat, lunge, ab, and push-up variations that I am doing today. Super simple format. We're just doing 10 reps of everything, 4 rounds of the circuit, and that's it. That's how we're getting our 160 reps done. So I'm starting with my squat and lunge combo. We'll do that 10 times. Then we'll move on to abs. I'll do 10 reps of abs. Now, then push-ups, 10 push-ups, and repeat that a total of 4 times. Abs, you have 2 choices. You can double your abs, meaning that you can do 10 reps on each side per round, so that by the end of the workout, you will have actually completed a total of 40 reps of that ab exercise on each side for a total of 80 reps of abs all day. That's one option. Option number 2, you can do just 5 reps on each side per round, and that way at the end of each round, you will have completed a total of 10 total reps, 5 on each side. So after 4 rounds of the circuit, you will have completed 40 reps of abs. Or you can do 10 reps on one side and just switch sides each time through the circuit. I think I'm going to just go ahead and double these. I think I'm going to do 10 reps on each side per round, so that means I'm doubling my abs. So if you want to double your abs, you're going to follow along with what I'm doing. If you don't want to double your abs, then you can do sets of 5 instead of sets of 10. You can still do everything I'm doing, but when we get to abs, I'm going to be doing sets of 10. You can do sets of 5. Or you can do the first set of 10 with me each time through the circuit and sit out the second set of 10 and just rest, get a sip of water, towel off, let your heart rate come down a little bit, let your breathing normalize, and then jump back in for the push-ups. And then just, if you do that, make sure that you're switching sides for your ab exercise with each round, okay? So just know that as long as you're getting your 40 reps done, that's all. That is literally the only requirement to participate in the challenge. So if I'm doing extra reps of anything, you always have the option to not do those extra reps with me if you don't want to. But I think what the HE double hockey sticks, let's double abs today. That's what I'm going to be doing. I just decided right now. So I'm deciding right now that I'm doing thrusters for my squat variation and I'm doubling my abs, okay? But I've given you lots of options, so you make the decision that's best for you. Hopefully that is all clear. Please remember that I do always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and of course I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how it all fits together, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided, if you need to see beginner modifications for anything, I am always here to help. So please ask questions if you have them. It is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And hopefully you guys know that it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I am always here to help facilitate that. please do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also want to remind you, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to please make sure that you are going at your own pace and minding your form. So if you are in really good shape, you are definitely going to be faster than I am, and that's wonderful. Be faster than I am as long as you are not losing anything off of your form to get there. If you are racing to stay ahead of me because you're competing with me and you want to beat my time, or you just set a really ambitious time goal for yourself that you're chasing and your form starts to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down. I invite you to compete with me. That's wonderful. I'm not saying not to compete with me. I'm just saying to make sure that you're not losing anything off of your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. So it is always going to be safer and more effective to slow down and do your reps with excellent form than it is to allow your form to get sloppy because you're just trying to go fast. The same thing applies if you are slower than I am. If you are slower than I am, be slower than I am. You would not even know that you're slower than I am unless you got your little booty dressed and got out here and you were doing these reps with me today. So if you were slower than I am, wonderful, because you're doing it. You're out here putting in the work. That's all that matters. Don't worry about how fast you're going. Worry that you are executing every single rep with the best possible form that you can manage. So please do not race to keep up with me at the expense of your form. If you fall behind, either because you are just working at a slower pace than I am, or you're needing to take longer rest breaks than what I'm taking, or you're needing rest breaks where I'm not taking them, that's fine. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. We'll finish the workout together. I do want you to challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. You should only resume the workout once you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina so that you can continue with good form. So again, please just be smart, be safe, listen to your body, use your common sense and make the decision that's best for you. Make sure that you are going at your own pace and make sure that you are minding your form. Please do not sacrifice your form for speed. Please make sure you're working to your own level. So that means going at your own pace. It also means choosing a set of dumbbells or household items that are an appropriate weight for you, nothing too heavy. It means being prepared to drop the added weight if it becomes too taxing and switching to the body weight versions of the exercises that I showed you. It might mean shortening up your range of motion on your squats. It might mean holding on to something for support. For your lunges, it might mean putting your knees down for the push-ups or switching to an easier ab exercise. So please just make sure that you are not pushing your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do, and just do your best. Remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. Hopefully, I have covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and begin the workout, gather whatever equipment you need. So for me, that's just an exercise mat and a set of dumbbells. So dumbbells are ideal if you have them, but if you don't have dumbbells, remember you can look for household items that will work, maybe a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight. If you have absolutely nothing that is going to work for weight, or you just don't want to add weight to the workout, that's fine. The added weight is optional. You have your equipment-free modifications, but you will be more comfortable with something soft beneath you for our ab exercise and if you do push-ups from your knees. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you do not have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. And if you're just needing something soft beneath your knees for the push-ups or beneath your hip for the hip dips, then you might also be able to use like a throw pillow or a couch cushion. So gather whatever equipment you need, pause the video, go get dressed, and then meet me right back here. We're going to start with a quick little 5-minute warm-up, and then we'll get right into our day 29 reps. So as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm-up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arm is completely relaxed. You're not pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just allowing gravity to do all the work of gently stretching the opposite side of your neck by simply using the weight of your arm to do so. So now we're going to switch sides. Allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Your arm is completely relaxed. Shoulders are completely relaxed as well. They should be down away from your ears. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall first towards your chest and then towards the opposite shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start feeling your head getting heavier and heavier, allowing your range of motion to increase so that eventually your entire torso is just kind of spilling in front of you. And your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. Next, we're going to do some shoulder rolls. You can roll your shoulders either towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter, but you really want to explore your full range of motion here. So think about making the circles as big as you possibly can. Next, we are going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you'll begin by extending your arms straight out to the sides and then just making small circles either towards the back or towards the front. It does not matter, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you are exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you possibly can. Now step your feet out so that they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees and sweep your arms in front of you. And as you straighten your legs, you're reaching up, stretching as high as you can towards the ceiling. Each time you bend your knees, allowing your range of motion to increase little by little, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep your feet planted right where they are. Again, they should be wider than shoulder width apart. We're just going to lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So now with each lunge, I'm just reaching my arm across my body. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now step the feet in. We're just going to march in place. Knees low to start. But gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can. Really get them up there. Feel that nice little stretch in your booty cheeks. Now we're going to jog in place. Again, starting with the knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can. Next is booty kicks. So keep jogging, but now with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you. Really, really try to kick yourself in the booty cheek with your heel. For this next one, if you struggle with balance, you can hold onto the wall or a chair for support. If not, hands on the hips is fine. You're going to transfer your weight into one foot, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back. Nice and loose. We're just waking up those hip flexors. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and swing the leg front and back. You can start low, but as the interval progresses, if it feels comfortable, and if you want to, you can start expanding your range of motion, swinging that leg higher and higher. We're going to switch legs again. So put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, extend the leg out in front of you, and then bring the leg around and behind you. Each time you make this semicircle with your leg, you're lifting the leg higher and higher. And now we're going to finish with 2 hip circles. So drive the knee up towards your chest, and then use your hand to guide it around. Other leg, extend the opposite leg out in front. Bring the leg around and behind. Lifting your leg higher and higher each time you make that semicircle. And now 2 hip circles, drive the knee up towards the chest. Use your hand to guide it around. Finishing with a hamstring stretch, feet wide apart, hinge at the hips, forward fold. So you want to try to keep your back as flat as possible so that you isolate your hamstrings more effectively. So it might be helpful if you want to use the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch to assist you as you come into this stretch. It'll probably make it a little bit easier to keep your back flat, and it will probably make it a little bit more comfortable, and it might make the stretch a little bit more accessible to you. But that's it. That is our little 5-minute warm-up. So let's get right into the workout. We are starting with our squat and lunge combo, 10 reps. As soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So you can hold on to one weight or two weights or no weights. I'm going to start with my weights up here by my shoulders. Step to the side and squat. Now press the weights up overhead. Bring the weights back down to the shoulders. Step the foot in. Now we're going to lunge back in the direction we just came from. Tap the dumbbell down towards the toe on the opposite side, and that's 1 rep. Weights back up to the shoulders. We're going to go in the other direction now. So step to the opposite side and squat. Press the weights up overhead. Weights come back down to the shoulders. Step the foot in. Weights come down in front of your chest. Step to the side and lunge. Return to your starting position. So that's 2. We're doing 10 reps. Step to the side, thruster. Step the foot in, side lunge. Return to the starting position. That's 3. Step to the side and squat. Press the weights up overhead. Step the foot in. Step to the side and lunge. Return to the starting position. That's 4. I'm gonna zip it so I can actually focus on what I'm doing. You've got to do 6 more. Do your best. So make the decision that's best for you. I've got my feet staggered, weight up here by my shoulder, coming up into my side plank. Now dip the hip, lift the hip, bend the top knee and crunch it in towards your other top shoulder, and that's 1 rep, okay? Dip the hip, lift the hip, bend the top knee, crunch it in towards the elbow on the same side. That's 2, 3, we're going to 10, do your best. That's 10. So now I'm going to do 10 reps on the other side, but that means I'm going to be doubling my reps of abs. So if you don't want to do that, you can skip ahead in the video, or you can just take a minute to rest while I'm doing my abs on the other side. But if you're just doing 10 reps of abs per round, make sure you're switching sides with each round, each time through the circuit. All right, I'm going to do the same exercise on the other side. So, staggered stance, side plank, dip the hip, lift the hip, crunch the top knee in towards the top elbow. 10 reps, do your best. Obliques on fire. All right, finishing up with 10 push-ups. Any push-up variation you want. I'm doing staggered stance, reptile push-ups. So hands staggered and a reptile knee tuck. And I'm going to be holding onto my dumbbells. You don't have to hold onto your dumbbells. You don't have to do staggered stance with your hands, and you don't have to do a reptile knee tuck. Any push-up variation you want to do is fine. And I'm holding onto my dumbbells. So come up to a plank, step one hand back, and now push up, tucking one knee towards the elbow on the same side, straightening the leg as you push yourself back up, walk the back hand forward, Walk the front hand back. Other side. That's 2. I'm gonna zip it because these are hard. We have to do 8 more. Do your best. All right, that's once through the circuit. That took me almost 6 minutes, which means that I'm on pace for this whole workout to take me 24 minutes. I would prefer for it not to take that long. So now that I've explained and demonstrated all of the exercises, walked you through how to do everything the first round, you know what we're doing now. We just have to repeat the circuit 3 more times. So I'm gonna zip it, try to talk less so that I can conserve some energy and pick up the pace. And let's see if we can pick up the pace a lot and finish in under 20 minutes. It's gonna be tough. So do your best. Remember, don't sacrifice your form for speed, but I wanna see if I can pick up the pace enough to finish in under 21 minutes. If you need a longer rest break, pause the video. When you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina, come back and we'll start round 2 together. 10 more reps of our squat and lunge combo. Moving on to abs. You can do 5 reps on each side, or you can double them with me and do 10 reps on each side, or you can just work one side with each round. So if you're doing that, make sure that you're working the opposite side from what you were working in round 1. Nice job. These are super tough, I know. Other side, or you can skip to push-ups. exercise, I know. Now onto push-ups, which is another tough exercise. Remember, if you started with weight, you can drop the weight. If you started doing hands staggered, you can stop staggering your hands. If you started doing reptile knee tucks, you can eliminate them. As long as you're getting 40 push-ups done, it doesn't matter how you do them, as long as you're doing them with good form. So, 10 more hands staggered reptile push-ups, alternating sides with each rep as soon as you're ready. My pace was a hair faster in that second round, but still just about 6 minutes. All right, remember, if the thrusters are getting too difficult, you can just do goblet squats. You can drop one weight and just hold on to a single dumbbell. You can lose the added weight altogether. Just keep moving, keep going with me. We're halfway there. Meant to just nudge my mat out of the way, and I kicked it clear across my patio. Okay, on to abs. pound dumbbell. Feels like it weighs 50 pounds right now. All right, 10 push-ups, and then we're done with round 3. Oops, I forgot my reptile knee tuck. We'll do one more without on this side. And then I'll just do the remaining 8 with it, because I'm not doing an extra push-up to make up for it. I can barely get these 10 done. All right, 8 more. You're gonna get squished by the dumbbell. You gotta move. You gotta go the other way. Go on, I don't wanna squish you. All right, 2 more reps. Giving my arms a minute to recover and also trying not to squish this little baby spider. All right. Starting to slow down now. We're not going to even finish in under 24 minutes. Definitely not under 20 minutes because we're hitting the 19-minute mark right now. But I am definitely pushing myself. This is a tough workout. These are all tough variations of these 4 exercises. And yeah, it is stupid hot out here again today. So I'm struggling, but we only have 1 round to go, 1 round left. So if you need a longer rest break, pause the video, towel off, get a sip of water, and when you're ready, let's go ahead and start our 4th and final round. So 10 more reps of our squat and lunge combo. That's 8. 2 more. That's 9. 1 more rep. And then squats and lunges will be all done. Let's push. All right. Squats and lunges are done. Just have to do our final 10 reps of abs on each side, or 5 on each side. Or if you're just doing one side per round and you've done 20 on one side, 30 on the other, you know the drill now. As long as you're doing at least 40 reps and as long as you work both sides evenly, it doesn't matter. All right, I'm stalling because I don't want to do these, but we're almost there. Home stretch, come on. 10 reps. It is surprising how much difficulty that adds, so keep in mind that you can drop the added weight and the exercise will be much easier, okay, much less taxing. Okay, stalling again, because it's even harder on this side. All right. I have to do 3 more. All right, that's 10. We're already over 24 minutes. I greatly evaluated my capabilities today. Way off with my time goal, but that's okay. We're not that far over 24 minutes right now. That's more or less in keeping pace with our first round, so it's not too bad. I'll just try to keep it as close to 24 minutes as I can, but these 10 push-ups are going to take however long they're going to take, because it's a really tough push-up variation, and I'm sure that I will have to pause and rest at least once. So if you need a longer rest break before we start them, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get into them. See if I can do at least like four to 6 unbroken. That would be wonderful if I can. If not, I'll just do what I can. That was 6. Just 4 more. Rest longer if you need to. I'm gonna go for it. Wish me luck. Minutes and 23 seconds. So I definitely was not able to continue to pick up my pace, but that's okay. That was a really tough workout, and I did feel like I really was pushing myself as hard as I could today. And most importantly, I got the reps done. That is what matters. So, nice job. That was a tough little workout. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, and especially no workout during this challenge is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. You may not skip your bonus burpee. I know calling it a bonus might imply that it's optional. It is not optional, it is mandatory. It is part of the workout. And doing your bonus burpee after each and every workout is part of this challenge. You do not have to include a push-up with your bonus burpee. Any burpee variation you want to do is fine, but you must do your bonus burpee. It is the exclamation point at the end of the workout. It's a little celebration that we got our reps done today, and it's a pat on the back for sticking with the challenge for another day. So as soon as you're ready, let's do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. Here we go. This is our final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's just do a quick cool down together. You just want to keep moving while you allow your heart rate to come down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. So you can pace around back and forth, maybe shake out the legs a little bit. Let's do a shoulder stretch. So bring one arm across your body, use your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and make sure that your shoulder is relaxed. If your shoulder is tense and hunched up by your ear, you are not going to be able to stretch it effectively, and this is a really nice stretch to do after all those push-ups. You see me doing this stretch during the workouts all the time as I'm recovering from a set of push-ups. So make sure the arm is relaxed so that you really get that nice stretch in your shoulder, and keep moving while we're doing these stretches. So you can shake out the legs like I'm doing. You can even just shift your weight from foot to foot. If you're still breathing really heavily, it might feel better to pace. That's fine. Just kind of keep moving, keep the circulation going, and keep focusing on slowing down your breathing. And you do that by really concentrating on feeling your diaphragm being pulled down as you inhale. And think about breathing all the way down to your belly button. So allow your rib cage to expand as you inhale. Visualize filling up your entire torso with air, and then use your diaphragm to control the air as you exhale. Let's get the other shoulder. So bringing the opposite arm across your body and using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Your straight arm is completely relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. They should be down away from your ears. Feel that really nice stretch in your shoulders. Should feel really good after all those tough push-ups. Keep moving so you can pace. You can shake out the legs. You can shift your weight from foot to foot. And keep focusing on slowing down your breathing. So let's take one more nice deep breath here. Feel your diaphragm being pulled down. Inhale all the way down to your belly button. Fill up your entire torso with air, and use your diaphragm to control the air as you slowly exhale. Shake it out. Let's do a tricep stretch next. Another really nice stretch to do after all those push-ups. Bending one elbow, place your other hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that the fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. You want to avoid having your free hand hanging out up here somewhere by your shoulder. So point those fingers straight down at the ground as you gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feel that really nice stretch in your triceps. As you are doing this tricep stretch, you are moving. So you are shifting your weight from foot to foot. You're shaking out the legs. You're pacing, whatever feels good to you. Let's do the other arm. So bending your other elbow, place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Making sure that the fingers on your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. Keep moving and keep focusing on slowing down your breathing. So let's take a couple more really nice deep breaths here. Feel your diaphragm being pulled down as you inhale. Breathing all the way down to your belly button. Using your diaphragm to control the exhale. One more. Inhale, breathing all the way down to your belly button. Feel your rib cage expand. Visualize filling up your entire torso with air, and then use your diaphragm to slowly exhale. Controlling the air as you breathe out. We're going to finish with a quad stretch. So for this one, if you struggle with your balance, you can hold onto the wall or any other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support. So maybe your kitchen counter or dining room table, the arm of your couch. You're going to bend one knee, bring the foot behind you, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding onto something for support. If you are not holding onto anything for support, you can reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. And now you're just going to press your heel into your booty cheek. And I mean, really press it in there. Feel that nice stretch in your quads. And now we're going to intensify that stretch by tilting the pelvis forward. So think about kind of tucking your booty underneath you and trying to touch your spine with your belly button. Keep pressing your heel into your booty cheek as you tilt your pelvis forward. As soon as you combine both of those two elements, you're going to feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscles as you isolate them more effectively, but I also want you to feel the stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So shake it out. Let's get the other leg. So hold on to something for support if you need to. Reach back and grab a hold of your foot with the hand that's on the same side. If you are not holding on to anything for support, you can reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Press your heel into your booty cheek. And as you are doing that, tilt your pelvis forward. Tuck the booty underneath you. Suck that belly button back towards your spine. Make sure that you're doing both of those things at once. So as you are pressing your heel into your booty cheek, make sure that you are continuing to tilt your pelvis forward. And as you're concentrating on tilting your pelvis forward, as you're doing that, make sure that you're continuing to press your heel into your booty cheek. Feel that stretch intensify in your quad muscles, and then feel that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors and come out. One last time, shake out the legs, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit, and that's it. That is our little cool down. So now I am moving directly on to cardio. I have the lovely Victoria here with me today. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with these pretty light pink metallic handles. If you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I'm going to go inside where it's quite a bit cooler. I'm going to set my interval timer for 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals times 40 rounds. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to get some music going so it's not so tedious. And I am going to just jump rope for 20 minutes. That's my cardio. Then I will immediately do my stretching routine and then have my shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. The additional cardio is not mandatory. It is not officially part of the challenge, but it's the way I have done this challenge every year since year 2, I think, year 2 or 3. After every single workout, I like to tack on 20 or 30 minutes or more of additional moderate paced cardio. So for me, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be 20 minutes of interval jump rope. Every once in a while though, I might go for a jog. Those are both great options. If you have a bike ride is also a wonderful option. But if you have something like an elliptical or a treadmill or an exercise bike or a Stairmaster, something like that, you could hop on one of those for 20 or 30 minutes more if you want. If you have access to a pool or if you live close to a body of water and weather is permitting, you could go for a swim. Swimming is phenomenal cardio. If you have access to a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. I love that option. I don't own a heavy bag, but if you own one, that is another option. If you have more time, maybe you could go for a nice long hike. When I have more time and the weather's nice, and that is what I like to do. So in that case, I'm doing lots more than just 20 minutes. My hikes take a couple of hours. But the point is just to add on some moderate paced cardio. I do it after every workout. You don't have to do it at all. But if you are using this challenge to get yourself in shape, and if you want to improve your stamina, if you're trying to lose weight, I strongly recommend that you find at least 2 or 3 days a week to add on this 20 or 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after the workouts, because it's really going to help accelerate that process for you. You're going to start to see results a lot faster, and it's really encouraging. It helps you to find the motivation each day to stick with the challenge when you can see that what you're doing is working. It also makes it easier to motivate yourself to do the workouts when you actually are getting stronger and your stamina is improving, because the workouts themselves will start to get easier and you'll be able to do them a little faster, so that you'll know each day before you begin your reps that it's going to be easier and it's going to be less of a time commitment than it was maybe that first week or so of the challenge. And for me anyway, I find that that makes motivation a lot easier to come by, so it just increases the likelihood that you are going to be able to stick with the challenge. So again, the additional cardio is not mandatory, it is not officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. Also, very, very strongly recommended, even more so than the cardio, is that you're taking at least a good 20 or 30 minutes every single day to stretch. Immediately after the workout or immediately after your cardio, if you're adding cardio, is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done, because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. But you don't have to do your stretching immediately after the workout. If you don't have time now, that's fine. You can do your stretching at any point during the day. It doesn't matter when you do your stretching, just as long as you're getting it done, because it's going to go a long way towards helping to alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing. It is also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and of course it's going to improve your flexibility. And all three of those things are important on their own, but they're especially important if you're doing the challenge with me. So number one, if you are doing this challenge and daily exercise is something new to you, then it's very likely that you are experiencing muscle soreness. So if that is the case, then it's going to make it more difficult to find the motivation to get your reps done when you're feeling so sore that you can't move. But if you're taking the time to stretch, you may still feel sore, but you're going to feel better. It's going to lessen that, and so it's going to make it more likely that you'll be able to say, okay, I'm not feeling 100%, I'm feeling a little sore, but I can move, I can do it, I'm gonna do my reps today, I'm gonna stick with the challenge for another day. So it's helping to increase the likelihood that you are able to successfully complete all 40 days of the challenge with me. And it also is going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward. And that also is incredibly important on its own, but especially so if you are doing this challenge with me, because if you get injured, then you're going to have to sit out a few days while you allow your body to recover. And one of the main goals of this challenge is to establish a habit of daily exercise, and you do that through consistent effort. That's why we are working out 6 days in a row every single week, Monday through Saturday of every week. So the goal is to do all 40 days of the challenge so that by day 40 you will have firmly established that habit of daily exercise, and after the challenge is complete you will continue making daily exercise a part of your routine. So if you become injured, then all of that momentum that we're working so hard to build is going to come to a screeching halt, and it's just going to make it that much more difficult to establish that habit of daily exercise. So it's really important that you are, number one, making sure that you're doing the exercises correctly during the workouts, and number two, stretching after the workouts. Those are the two most important things you can do to help reduce your risk of injury. There are no guarantees. You might still become injured, and if you become injured, absolutely rest, recover. It is far more important that you take care of yourself than to push your body into going through the workouts when you're not 100%. So yes, the goal is to do all 40 days of the challenge, but priorities. If you're injured, take a few days to rest. But of course, the goal is to not become injured. So if you want to kind of stack the deck in your favor, taking the time to stretch every day is going to help to train your muscles to be generally more flexible. They'll be more pliable. Your range of motion is going to increase, and your muscles are going to become more resilient, lessening the likelihood that you are going to strain something or pull a muscle during one of the workouts, and stacking the deck in your favor, increasing the likelihood that you are able to stick with the challenge and complete all 40 days with me, or all 20 days if your challenge is 20 days. The point is that taking the time to stretch every day is one of the two most important things you can do to reduce your risk of injury, and I don't want anyone getting hurt, and I want you to be really happy with your results at the end of the challenge. So that is accomplished through consistent effort, and the best way you can remain consistent is to make sure that you don't get injured and have to skip days. And of course, taking the time to stretch every day is going to improve your flexibility, which is a really important aspect of your overall fitness level, and it's one that I feel tends to be overlooked sometimes, maybe a little undervalued. So if you're taking the time to do these 160 reps with me every single day to build your strength, and you are finding at least 2 or 3 days a week to add on 20 or 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after the workouts, to improve your stamina, why not take a little bit of extra time to improve your flexibility while you're at it? It just makes the challenge that much more well-rounded. So please make sure that you are taking the time to stretch every day. Just please make sure that you are doing so safely. So again, if you want to do your stretching right now, your muscles are already warm, but if you put off your stretching until later on in the day, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So just remember that you will need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching, because you never want to jump into your stretching routine with cold muscles. Your muscles need to be warm in order for them to be pliable so that you can stretch them safely and effectively. But that's it. That is officially a wrap on day 29 of the challenge, which means that our penultimate week of the challenge is now officially underway. We have less than 2 weeks left now, which is just amazing. So if you did this day 29 workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. And even if you're not doing the challenge with me, thank you for doing this workout with me. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. And if you know anyone else who might be interested in joining the challenge, please feel free to share this video with them. Please feel free to share any or all of the playlists with them. Remember, we have a beginner playlist, an intermediate playlist, and an advanced playlist. And I am here to help guide you through the challenge. And the more people I have doing the challenge with me every year, the happier I am. So please feel free to share. And one final reminder that if anything was unclear about the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, if you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts at all about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am always here to help, so please ask questions if you have them. And that is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 30. Bye.